Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of the Murphy Street Podcast, where we invite you to come break away from those Corona shelter-in-place blues and enjoy some of the great memories from your childhood, from younger days, by living through some of the things that we have today to enjoy them with. Joining us today via telephone is CeeLo. He's normally the other guy with us. So CeeLo, tell everybody what's up.
What's up?
And also to my right, where he always normally sits, my guy, Bronson. Bronson, tell everybody what's up.
How's it going?
All right, so rules of Murphy Street are simple. We want you to come in. We want you to have a good time. But first things first, shoes and slippers at the door. Come inside and let's talk story. All right, guys. So Star Wars Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 10. This one was titled The Phantom Apprentice. So last episode we were gushing because it was easily a break away from the boredom of what used to be that like teen drama, girls, Trace and Rafa and Ahsoka, and finally we're getting into the I guess the Jedi part of it, where we see more lightsaber battles. We're seeing a lot more Mandalorian gunfights. Like, it is exciting. You know what, Bronson? You've seen it, yes?
I have.
So
yes.
why don't you do the honor of taking us through the episode?
So it started off with the opening crawl again, with that Lucasfilm green title. And
yeah, they changed it up because they heard me complaining, because the Murphy Street Podcast has reached like that.
And then it had that red, the Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it started right when the action with Maul and Ahsoka.
Yeah. It's so great, right where it picked up on.
Yes, and I mean, they had the lightsaber battle.
The lightsaber battle. Epic lightsaber battle. It was amazing. Yeah. What?
And then they had the battle with the Mandalorians.
The Mandalorians, that's right. That's right. No, and so the majority of this episode was really just a development of the plot. Right. Really, right? Because from what I understand... Hi, Mijo. From what I understand, this is going to be a 4-part series in which we see the Ahsoka Tano, Darth Maul back and forth kind of thing. It was like the capture of Mandalore or something like that. I forwarded you guys the article that I read. It was actually really good, very informative, but kind of tips the hat on what's going to happen to developing things. Again, CeeLo is probably the only one out of the three of us who's seen Rebels, and of course, this kind of what's awesome about this. It's so great because it starts to connect all the different things, whether it's a live action stuff, so the Revenge of the Sith. The Mandalorian is starting to come in, and then now also the Clone Wars. So now you've got not only bridging over to live action things, but also bridging over to other animated things. So CeeLo, what can you tell us as far as what you see kind of starting to connect already this early in the season?
From Rebels, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of setting up the stage, because when you watched Rebels, you kind of didn't know what was going on until Disney started making canon books and comic books. So right. A lot of it kind of seemed like it came out of nowhere. Like, you knew that Ahsoka and Maul had a background beyond whatever their contact was in the Clone Wars from the earlier episodes.
Right.
And it made it super dramatic in Rebels, but you didn't really understand where that background was coming from. So that was kind of cool. I like the whole beginning of Bo-Katan is... Well, are we going with spoilers this early into your podcast?
I mean, you wouldn't be spoiler alert, CeeLo, if we didn't. So let's just go. Let's break the ice already, see.
So Bo-Katan eventually gets the dark saber from Sabine in Rebels. So it's kind of cool how all of those characters... I don't know. They just kind of came out of nowhere, but I like Clone Wars is kind of connecting it all. It's been good to see them tie everything up.
I saw the Darksaber earlier on in Clone Wars when Pre Vizsla had it. What?
Mm-hmm.
So is there only one Darksaber in the universe? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, that is correct.
So how did Pre Vizsla get it then?
It's essentially the first Mandalorian Jedi was the one who created the Darksaber. And since then, it's been since he died, the Jedi Council had it in the Jedi Temple, and the Mandalorians essentially they kind of raided the Jedi Temple to get this saber back, and it's been a saber that's been passed on to whoever is leading the Mandalorians. So essentially, it becomes a symbol of Mandalorian leadership.
Wow.
So after all of these wars, whoever challenges that person, they get to hold the dark saber. And then eventually it'll get lost and you don't know where it goes. But now that they brought it up in The Mandalorian, you know where it went.
Right. So why doesn't my Sabine figure have a dark saber with it?
Spoilers.
I know. Now I'm upset because my Sabine, I have a Sabine Wren figure and it doesn't have the dark saber. Does yours?
No.
Okay, well it wasn't just me then. Okay, well awesome.
Well, it's probably because she gives it away. Because she does not want to be the leader of the Mandalorian people.
Gotcha. Wow. Rebels is so deep, huh?
And that's where Bo-Katan gets it, yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. So now let's kind of bring it back to this episode. What I mean, first of all, that lightsaber fight was amazing, and the way it ended as well. Like Ahsoka Tano, I was pretty sure she was dead to rights.
I thought she was gonna.
Right? I was like, no way, this can't happen this early.
She lost both her lightsabers.
Both, yeah. How do you start with two and then end with none, and then you lose to the guy with the double-sided action?
You're literally hanging on the edge.
I know, but that move that she pulled. So probably as of right now. So Bronson and I didn't. Did you watch the Darth Vader, the Anakin Skywalker versus Ahsoka Tano lightsaber battle? No. Okay, so CeeLo, Bronson and I haven't seen it. I know you've seen Rebels. I know you're a Rebels pro. So what between the Darth Maul duel and the Darth Vader and Ahsoka Tano duel, which one was better?
Oh, by far this one. I think in almost all of the Star Wars universe that's been on TV or movies, this was by far one of my favorite.
Is it because Ahsoka Tano had two lightsabers and Darth Maul had a double-bladed lightsaber? It's just a much more elegant dance?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could have been. I think that was part of it because it was a very, their styles are very quick strike styles. So,
right.
With the obviously the glow of the sabers, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, and Scotty from my Higher State podcast is actually on here watching as well. So say what's up to Scotty. Scotty, if you want to jump on real quick and tell everybody hi, you're more than welcome to request. We'll accept you. And of course, my brother Mark Chan is on here as well. So so going back to this episode, it ended with Darth Maul being captured, which first of all I never thought would happen, and then I was when he went down, I was like, oh my god, no, he's gonna die again.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, Kavika must be like cringy. Right?
Yeah. No, I was, because don't get me wrong, I was kind of cheering for Ahsoka, and then she when she did the move, flipped him, and he went and then cut the beam, and he went down. I was like, oh no, oh no, that instant snap response, like, oh yeah, oh no. So, and then when they caught him, I was like, oh, okay, great. Also, so I want to know, CeeLo, what you foresee coming, and also, can anybody answer the question, who was in that ship that he was trying to get to?
I do not know who was in that ship that he was trying to get to.
Because it was a
the only
voice,
kind
right?
of allegiance I know he's had is the Death Watch.
Okay, but it was a woman's voice, right?
I don't know.
That we heard.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sean Port, Brother Porter, it's Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Season 7. You definitely want to get it. That's actually kind of what we talk about every week, because this is the final season of it. So this is Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7. This is the 10th episode. If you're taking our suggestions, then we will say watch episodes 1 through 4, and then what is it, 8, 9, 10, guys, or 9 and 10? Kind of skip 5, 6, 7, and 8. I mean, unless you really want to. If you were a fan of the Disney movie Inside Out, you might be okay with that one. It wasn't for us, but anyway, we digress and we'll go back. But it's Star Wars: The Clone Wars. One of our viewers that on IG Live is actually listening and wants to know. Yeah, of course, awesome, brother. CeeLo, what do you foresee coming up?
I don't know. It's going to be a hard time kind of going between the book and what I'm watching and trying to figure out what Disney is doing. I won't get into too much of it because it'll be spoiler alert. But based off of my guess, Maul has to escape at some point because he shows up in Rebels.
Right.
On a deserted island.
He shows up like an old man-looking thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So he escaped. I'm assuming Ahsoka has to go into hiding because her and Rex are in Rebels. So at some point, I'm expecting Order 66 in the next episode, and then the 4th episode to be a wind down.
So it's that closely connected to Revenge of the Sith right now. Like Order 66 can be within the next couple episodes.
honestly, I thought it could happen in this episode because essentially Order 66 happens right after Obi-Wan and Anakin go to Coruscant to save the Emperor.
Which is what happened here?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And so, here's the thing. Ahsoka Tano now just lost her 2 lightsabers, but in Rebels she has 2. So, how's that?
She has 2 dual white. It depends if you listen to the books or not.
Okay.
Because the book Ahsoka, she kills an Inquisitor or 2 and is able to take their sabers. And then if my memory serves me correctly, she uncorrupts the crystals, and then so they glow white.
White, okay. And so somewhere I read that it represents the neutrality of her in the Force, like because she was so disenchanted from her breakup with the Jedi Order, that she decided to go with a white, kind of, I guess, like a rogue Jedi, if you will.
Like a pure, like a...
Yeah, so, well, that's
cool.
So... That is awesome, man. No, I mean, by far, Episode 10, it's so funny because it really let us down with 5 and 6 and 7, I think, or maybe 5 and 6 for certain, right? Remember that? Like, it was really the doldrums of the Clone Wars for us. And then, man, if it didn't start to ramp up, and it just continually kept getting better. So, Episode 10 so far has been easily the highlight of all of them. If you're going to jump in anywhere, feel free to jump in at somewhere around 8.
I jumped in at this time,
I know.
Because it ties in all those loose ends.
Yeah, now it's really started to collect
right
all of
Revenge
your...
of the Sith.
Yeah,
like,
Revenge of the Sith, and also I love the fact that the Mandalorians, like, I love the fact that we're crossing between live action and animation, and it's believable. You know what I mean, CeeLo? Like, I'm actually tied into this story, invested in it, and I feel like it's going to, like, answer questions from things that I've seen on live action. So I feel like that's such an amazing accomplishment on Disney's part. Bravo to them and Lucasfilms. All right, so anything else you want to cover before we move on, brother? I know this is your wheelhouse, so I don't want to take you out of your element.
I did like that.
Just one more thing. Because it was called the Phantom Apprentice, automatically you assume it's calling back the Phantom Menace, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is that they started using either songs or music that was almost identical to the Phantom Menace with the whole choir in the background and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was a great touch.
Nice observation, absolutely. See, and that's why I wanted to give you that. I'm sorry, and Bronson also had something that he wanted to talk about. What touched you from this episode?
I like the part when Obi-Wan and Ahsoka were talking, and he told Rex to leave.
Yeah, he said, "Can I speak to us?"
And then they were talking about Sidious,
and Anakin having to spy on him.
And having to spy on him, and then how he mentioned how he killed Dooku.
Yeah.
And she couldn't believe all the things he was telling her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool how she was like oblivious to a lot of things.
Right. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so funny because this, first of all, I other than like a Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and Broomsticks type of scenario, you've never really seen animation cross over into live action, make that connection and be believable. But what they're doing is blending storylines and making it all into one that it's harmonious, it's of the same fiber, and it's so believable that I'm watching this animated thing recalling things from that I saw from live action, and I absolutely love it. I agree with Bronson. Like, this episode was so good that I fell in love with so many parts that I forgot about the part I fell in love with in the beginning. So yeah, both of you guys, awesome. Exactly what I was thinking throughout the episode. I completely agree with everything, man. And I mean, again, that lightsaber duel, if anything, you'll love that. If you just want to satisfy the id, if you just want to see some cutting and some stuff. Oh, also from a collector's standpoint, please San Diego Comic-Con or some Star Wars toy god out there,
I'm hoping you're going to say the figure that I'm thinking of.
Please make a Gar Saxon with that Darth Maul helmet.
Yes.
Did you see
that,
my
God. At least a Funko for me. That is by far the coolest helmet of all time.
That was the coolest. I was like, first, the color scheme is awesome. Then the horns are amazing, and then his visor is like orange, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was just so crazy. I was like, this needs to be a figure today. This has to happen now.
With the spikes and
not like Baby Yoda, where it's only finally going to come out in a week or so. Like, we want it today. But whatever. So hopefully they come out with that. Absolutely. Again, Star Wars Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 10, Phantom Apprentice. Check it out. All right. So let's go into this, and I'm going to show this to our world, our IG Live world here. So I don't know if you can see it.
There too.
Yeah. So there, you see that? 40 years old. Empire Strikes Back is turning 40 years old. Yeah, there you go. So merch, toys, everything. It's all coming out. Here you go. If you're watching us,
the tag.
Damn. Beautiful. If you're watching us, then you should be a collector of some kind, or at least a fan. So we will use this time now to tell everybody that next podcast, we're actually going to... So on IG Live, we're going to give away... What do you want to give away on live? Luke?
Whichever
Luke and
one.
work for YODA?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Luke came first before you.
Okay. So Luke and work, and then we'll for the post. So on IG Live, we'll be giving away this figure. You see it, CeeLo? Because I know you're on live.
Yep.
So we'll be
Just
giving away... We'll be giving away this figure on IG Live next week. Again, we'll be on at 6 p.m. talking about it. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. This guy will be on an IG post. So to win the YODA, you'll have to do an IG post. It won't be complicated. It'll be something easy like ESB or something like that. But we will have a word. We want you to listen to the podcast. Want you to pay attention, and we would love to give this away to you. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw in the bag the Galaxy's Edge set that nobody seems to care about. But anyways, Empire Strikes Back makes 40 years old coming up. When does it make 40? Oh, so the actual debut was May 21st, 1980. All right, so it's going to be 40 as of May 21st. But on May 17th, and I think I forwarded you guys this article as well, and read it when you get a chance. There was an article that came up in 1980, written by the New York Times, I believe it was, or maybe Wall Street Journal. A very good publication. So I was actually surprised at the fact that they covered this. But Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, was actually first shown on the 17th at the Kennedy Center for a bunch of dignitaries, as well as about 300 Special Olympic athletes. Wow. Eunice Kennedy Shriver, of course, who began the entire Special Olympics thing, she was there on hand, as well as Mark Hamill, Billy D. Williams, Peter Mayhew, Dave Prowse, Harrison Ford, everybody but Lloyd Daniels. Kenny Baker was even there. Wow. So it was a great story. And you know what's awesome is they have these little sound bites like Q&As that they had with Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher. And you really get the feel of Carrie Fisher. If you didn't know, if you thought she was just hair buns and white dresses, that's definitely not who Carrie Fisher is, because those little sound bites and little snippets kind of give you a hint as to her type of sense of humor. But anyway, The Empire Strikes Back was probably the first jumping off point to where the world realized that Star Wars was more than just a sci-fi movie, because that's where they introduced that Oedipus complex. You know what I mean? So it was so much about it that became more artistic, and it wasn't just the gratuitous dogfights in space and lightsaber battles and magic of the Force. You introduced new characters, new places, and people really began to see how the library of Star Wars was able to open up. Having said that, I can tell you that I have a whole bunch of parts that I love, and I'll go last. Actually, no, I'll go first since I'm leading into it. What I want to ask the guys is, what is everybody's favorite part of the movie? I'll go first. We'll go CeeLo since you're the middle guy right now, and then Bronson can end with what his favorite part of the movie is. Call me a cheesehead if you want, and I will say this because I know that my wife also feels the same. But my favorite part of The Empire Strikes Back is when Han and Leia have that little exchange at the end at the carbonite chamber, where Leia's like, "I love you," and Han's like, "I know." Like when I watched that for the first time, I was like, and I was too young to really understand love at that point. Was it 1980? So I probably saw it in 81 or 82, and I was just like, "Whoa," like, yeah, it's so funny because I was kind of like, that's kind of the attitude that I want to take eventually. Harrison Ford, you'll be happy to know that I did. But that's my favorite scene. That was kind of the iconic thing, and as I became an adult, I was happy to know that I wasn't the only one. But CeeLo, favorite scene from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back?
That it turned into one of my favorite scenes because I only understood it as I got older. When I was younger, the first time I saw it, I had no idea that was even cool. But the first time I saw it, because it's actually the first Star Wars movie I saw, was Empire Strikes Back. I didn't see A New Hope till maybe a year or two later.
Yeah.
But the thing that really hooked me was just the whole Battle of Hoth.
Yes.
Like for me, it was the first time I saw the AT-ATs and
Right.
just the coolness of being a kid and watching that whole battle go down. Even the little snow speeders that look like A-wings or whatever they are, but that was always my favorite part. That's pretty much what got me hooked onto Star Wars, was just that first battle.
Hoth is amazing. Yeah, Tauntauns and Wampas and slicing them open to stay warm overnight.
Yep.
No, absolutely. That's a great point. Way to bring that up. All right, and so Bronson, favorite part of Empire Strikes Back for you?
That was also my favorite part of Empire Strikes Back, but I also like the introduction of Yoda. Yoda was one of those practical effects characters that was so believable, and Frank Oz did such an amazing job portraying him, and the puppetry and the special effects on just him alone was amazing. Like to this day, I still feel like that Yoda is the most believable Yoda. Like CGI cannot compare to what they did in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's incomparable. But my favorite scene was when Luke actually got to meet him. He went to Dagobah not knowing who this Yoda is, and here he is thinking that he's some sort of Jedi like Obi-Wan, and then he finally meets Yoda.
Yeah, completely, absolutely agree with that. You know what's funny is that Yoda is probably my favorite Yoda of all the iterations of Yoda that have come out and been shown in movies and screen since, mainly because that Yoda was easily the funniest Yoda ever. Like when he was trying to dig through the food and then he was banging on R2, like that was by far the funniest thing I'd ever seen Yoda do. But again, the amazing things that they did at that point in time with like Bronson said, the animation, the puppetry, making him a believable character. Granted, they had Muppets at the time, and Fraggle Rock was still a thing then, and also Sesame Street. But this was next level, especially with like I just illustrated, the fact that you saw him fully moving through his little his hut, right, and digging through the chest. You can see Yoda's butt, as a matter of fact, right? Like there's a real bend. It's like a whole body. It wasn't like just like a head on a stick. They had an entire animation, and I think that's underrated.
They had to literally build a set beneath the set just to maneuver him around.
Yeah, so that, without question, by far, Empire Strikes Back, and for other reasons other than just all the things that we talked about, amazing movie. Now, here's one thing: the three of us are all collectors. Bronson and I collect mainly 6-inch Black Series figures, which are these type of guys, bigger than the traditional 3.75 ones. But CeeLo is a very heavy Funko Pop guy. Now, what I want to ask is, what is the most iconic collectible? Because if you're a collector, your eyes always just gravitate and they grab the first thing that you see, where you could be like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that. So what is the most amazing thing that you've seen from the Empire Strikes Back saga? Anything that you've seen at all? What is the most amazing thing? And we'll start with you, Bronson. We'll go reverse order, so you'll go on this one.
Just in general, or just like what's coming out? Or
well, just in general, like throughout all the years of your collecting, what have you seen where you were like, oh my god, I need that?
Oh. Well, any of the legacy stuff really tugs at my strings. I still want to get the retro figures that are coming out, the 40th anniversary ones.
Yeah, these guys?
Ones. Well, the smaller ones, the 3.
Oh, yeah.
On those are Walmart exclusives.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that.
They brought back Boba Fett, and Boba Fett is like the one everybody's trying to look for right now.
Boba Fett is always that guy.
But just that whole set alone, I'm trying to hunt down. But
give me one. Iconic.
Would be the Boba Fett.
Boba Fett? Yeah, no, totally. And nobody can fault you at all for that. Boba Fett made such a mass hysteria. So without question, Boba Fett has always been that iconic guy. From the moment he came out in Empire Strikes Back to the disappointment that everybody felt when he was eaten by the Sarlacc in Return of the Jedi. What about you, CeeLo? What have you seen?
For me, I don't know value of it, but there's a whole chrome set that I believe, I don't know if they're pictured in or supposed to be like a set from Empire Strikes Back, but there's a whole chrome set of Funkos that is like Chewbacca, Yoda, Leia, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, and a Stormtrooper, and it's gold chrome, and that would be my ideal kind of set that I would be looking for if someone was selling the whole set.
Nice.
Well, who's in that set? Like who exactly is in that set? And how many figures are you talking about?
6 that I know of, it's Chewie, Yoda, Leia, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, and then a random stormtrooper.
And then a random stormtrooper. And
yeah, because it's all main characters and then him.
yeah. Well, what's this? You guys ever watch Galaxy Quest?
No.
CeeLo, I know you watch Galaxy Quest. With Tim Allen?
Yeah, with Tim Allen.
Sigourney Weaver. And the arbitrary guy, his name was actually Guy. He's like, I'm just that extra guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the stormtrooper guy. So for you guys, my favorite all-time Empire Strikes Back thing, and I'm going to give this credit to Empire Strikes Back because this is where we first see it. But life-size Carbonite Han. Life-size carbon, and there's 2 types. There's one that it's just like one gigantic, like, I don't know if it's plaster or metal or something like that, and it's just that. And it's just the silver casing, and it looks nice. It's a great wall piece. But then there's also the, I think it was Master Replicas who did a life-size, and it has all the buttons and everything like that works as well. That was like the piece that and I'm going to be honest that, while I was playing professional basketball and I had extra money laying around, I was trying to chase that guy down for the life of me, and I couldn't find it for anything less than like $9,000.
Wow.
So I was not willing to go all in on that, which I'm glad I didn't because I ended up having, or my life-size collection ended up being sold. So without my permission, by the way. But yeah, so that would be for me that one piece, that Holy Grail piece from The Empire Strikes Back that I absolutely wish that I had, because man, can you imagine that? What?
Yeah.
So, come in.
Like, wow. What is
Yeah. You're like, I need something from my refrigerator. I'd always like touch it on the way. Like it would be like a touchstone for me. Like at the Apollo, that would be my touchstone. Oh, Han Solo frozen in my living room. But anyway, let's move forward to our Marvel movies. And the reason why I want to talk about it is just because it kind of calls back to today and what's going on with the way life is being lived now, right? Because now all of everything that we've done in life, all of the plans that we've been having, all the things that we've been working towards have all been pushed back. And we are kind of like in this, I don't want to say self-centered phase, but, of course, we're looking at it like, oh my gosh, all these things that we were looking forward to are getting pushed back. Well, imagine all these people who dropped millions, sometimes tens of millions of dollars to make one of these Marvel movies that they make. So I wanted to talk about it because we talked about it once on one of our earlier shows. Right. We talked about the release dates, at least for Black Widow, and we'll start with Black Widow because she was supposed to come out actually this week, right?
Week, I believe.
Yeah, it was the initial one, and then eventually they tried to move it back to May, and so now Black Widow's new date is November 6th, 2020. So at least we have something to look forward potentially in 2020, because when I first was going through a lot of the dates, I didn't see anything for 2020, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? It's all going to be 2021. I'm gonna have no Marvel real content for 2020." But thank God, Black Widow is saving the day again with November 6th, 2020. Now, one that Bronson doesn't know about, and I wanted to ask you, CeeLo, because I'm not sure what your range of knowledge is on the Marvel Universe, but The Eternals is a movie I am very, very much looking forward to. Now, Bronson wasn't too high on it just because he's not very familiar with the Eternals. I wish I could have given a little more story on him. I'll actually forward you a YouTube that kind of explains it a little better than I could. But I told him the best way I could explain it is like an Eternal is like Ego. Ego? Was that his name? Star-Lord's dad?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Ego.
So yeah, that guy is like an example of what the Eternals are. So their new date, because they were actually supposed to be the what's up, brother Eleganez? So they were actually supposed to be the November drop, and now they're going to be pushed back to February of 2021. CeeLo, you know anything about the Eternals?
Not too much, to be honest. That was one of the arcs of Avengers, I guess, or Marvel that I didn't really follow too much. I understand the premise, I guess.
What do you understand it to be?
I'm excited. Sorry, what was that?
What do you understand the premise of that to be? Because even I'm
there's
relatively foggy.
There's the Eternals, and then there's the Celestials.
Right.
The Eternals at some point were supposed to battle some of the Celestials. I don't know. I forget exactly what goes on, but it should be pretty interesting. I think they're Marvel on this whole phase, what is it, 4 that we're on,
Right,
I
phase
guess.
4.
They have a whole bunch of new things that, or not new, but smaller arcs and stuff that I didn't really follow, like Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi. All of that stuff. There's a lot.
Yeah, no, there is a lot. But I can tell you this. The great thing that gets me excited, and I said this the last time we talked about the Eternals, the thing that gets me most excited about the Eternals is the fact that it will allow them to play with the timeline. So, because the Eternals, well, as the name would suggest, are eternal. So, you know, they can have stories from way in the beginning of the timeline. They can go way towards into the future. Like, they just exist on a different plane than everybody else. So, to see how they use that, make it malleable, and then make it interesting to a crowd. I once said that I don't think you can make Captain America interesting, and Marvel did it. So I'm excited to see that, because the Eternals is one of those where I'm just like, how do you make that interesting? So to see them do that is going to be amazing. All right. Now, CeeLo actually brought up this name, and that's awesome, because that is the next one on the list. May 7, 2021 is going to be the release of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I believe up to this point there's only been 2 references of the Ten Rings and 2 different styles of it as well. But regardless, CeeLo, are you familiar with Shang-Chi?
Not too much.
Don't worry, neither
honestly, the only time it got brought up for me was during a sociology class against like racism back in the day because of the Mandarin who appeared in one of the Iron Mans.
Right.
Yep. And he appeared in one of the Iron Mans. But to my understanding, the Ten Rings, it's kind of almost similar to the Infinity Stones, right. I guess, in the power ranking of weapons and crazy weapons they have in the Marvel Universe. They're a lesser weapon than the Infinity Stones, but if you actually have all 10 rings, then you are pretty much invincible almost, I guess.
Yeah. Well, where did that come from? Yeah, exactly. Now, the next one that is coming out, we have a November 5th release. Moving on from Shang-Chi, because again, you know, that's what I wouldn't mind seeing. I have no idea what it is, though, so I don't know what we'd be lining up for. But next one after the May release of Shang-Chi will be Spider-Man, the 3rd iteration of the Marvel Studios version of Spider-Man, and that'll be in November 5th of 2021. Not sure what the name of that is. Do you know what it is, offhand? CeeLo, you know what the name of the new Spider-Man might be?
Did they drop it yet?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they may not have even dropped it. All I can tell you is, as of right now, they have a release date of the 5th of November for 2021. So there is some time, and
they were
yeah,
slated to film, but then of course a lot of them got pushed back and
right.
delayed. But I saw an interview with Tom Holland recently, and he was still in London, and they were supposed to be filming and shooting, but he doesn't know much details as to what the title is or anything of that much.
Nice. Okay. Well, cool. Well, you know, how's this? You know that Tom Holland won't know, because apparently he's the super spoiler alert guy that everybody's mad
But you know what's interesting is that, what's his name? That Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He gave Tom Holland like alcohol to drink during the quarantine. So if that's any indication that they're gonna be merging Deadpool.
Oh, I would love to see Spider-Man and Deadpool. CeeLo, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh gosh, how awesome would that be?
So that gives me some hope.
Yeah, no, that's some great hope too. February 11th. I don't know why they don't just hold it off 3 more days and make it for Valentine's Day, especially with a name like this. But Thor: Love and Thunder drops February 11th. The reason why I want to see this is because, 1, I want to see Fat Thor again. He was funny as heck. And 2, I want to see Lady Thor, Jane Foster. I want to see her take the mantle, take Mjolnir, and become Thor. And apparently that's what happens in this version of Thor: Love and Thunder. Did you hear anything, CeeLo? Did you hear anything, Bryce?
I don't know, but that poster looks kind of 80s-ish.
Yeah, I think that's the second Thor poster. But CeeLo, anything? Have you heard anything from Thor: Love and Thunder?
I haven't heard too much. I've seen some videos with speculations, but not that I can remember off the
nothing that you can
top
stand
of my head. But yeah.
Okay, well, moving on then. In March 25th, as a matter of fact, of 2022, becomes the new date of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And what's awesome is on this picture that we're looking at actually has Doctor Strange and Wanda Maximoff, also known as the Scarlet Witch. Very much so looking forward to this one because, again, Marvel doing a horror movie. Like, this is going to be their scary movie. Sam Raimi now at the helm of this one, right, CeeLo? And had nothing but great things to say about it, CeeLo, or at least something to keep you optimistic, right?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited for this because horror is movie-wise is one of my favorite genres. So I'm excited to see what Marvel does. I know they can't scare the kids, but I think it's a great opportunity for them to bring in the Blade arc because they haven't released anything more about Blade. So I'm excited for this movie.
Well, what do you think about them potentially, or people hoping that the villain Nightmare comes into this one? Makes sense, right? I
think he'd be a great character.
Yeah, makes sense. So hopefully we see that now. A release date that I'm looking very much forward to, May 6th, 2022, Black Panther 2. I don't know how you expect to do better than you did when you kind of hit a home run with it the first time, but the Black Panther 2 is coming out on May 6th, 2022. What do you think about that, Bronx?
Oh man, that's so long from now.
I know.
If you think about it, like, holy moly.
Yeah, it's literally 2 years from almost this exact date.
Yeah. Black Panther, I mean, it did really well in the box office, and hopefully they can do the same thing with the sequel. You know, a lot of people are skeptic when it comes to sequels, but if they can do what they did with the first one, I'm sure they can.
Well, it'll be hard to repeat because everybody seemed just so woke after that first one came around, right?
Yeah.
Right? See, like, I'm surprised I didn't see more dashikis walking around Honolulu. Honestly, like, it got real ethnic around here after Black Panther. But what about you, CeeLo? What do you think about Black Panther 2 coming out?
I can't wait to see it. I think I was reading that Warmonger makes the return. I hope he's... The only thing that bothered me in the first one, because I loved the movie, was Warmonger complained a lot, and he seemed much more of a badass character than just someone who complains. So now that we know his backstory and he got over his daddy issues, I think that character, to me, will be a lot cooler if he comes back.
Nice. All right. Well, hopefully we get away from whiny daddy issue babies. All right. Got it. All right. And last but not least, Captain Marvel 2, July 8th, 2022, coming out. Yeah, I know. Way to halt the brakes on that one, right? Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah.
We'll let CeeLo lead with that because he's the optimistic one out of the three of us.
The first one... it wasn't a bad movie. It was a kind of a fun, quirky movie. I honestly, I don't have too much to say. I hope it's more exciting than the first one, to be honest.
It's supposed to feature the daughter. You know, the one that she was talking to out on the porch, the little black girl? I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
The pilot lady's daughter.
Yes, yeah, but she becomes like a superhero or something after that later. I can't remember. No, not Nova.
Yeah.
What's that girl's name?
No, not Nova. It's I forget her name. I think it starts with an R, but I can't remember.
But yeah, she.
But yeah. So she grows up to become a superhero. I think people are suggesting that some of these movies are leading into the Young Avengers.
Avengers, right?
And one of them includes that little girl. And so I think there should be some tie-ins to a new branch off that Marvel will be doing by that point.
So here's the question. Since what was that? That was set in the late 80s?
The late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s, whenever Blockbuster was thriving. When will this one be set in then? Like, are we going to see 2010 coming back?
I don't know. It could really be anywhere. They could lead it off from when, what's his name? Pretty much, they could do it a different... beginnings, because with Multiverse of Madness, Multiverse gets kicked into full gear completely.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they could take it wherever. I'm hoping they kind of go from how it ended, I guess. I don't know. And honestly, out of all of the movies that are there, that's kind of the least one I'm excited about.
You'd rather see Shang-Chi before you see Captain Marvel 2. Watch out. CeeLo, there's ladies listening to this podcast. They may come after you. I didn't say it, ladies. CeeLo said it, but he also knows that he has a way with the ladies, so go see him if you need an apology. The man can absolutely get one done for you. But no, so that is the lineup that we know of. One movie that I am also curious about that we do not have in here because it's not a Marvel Universe movie, Morbius. I want to see Morbius.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's he's like a vampire in the Marvel Universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I that's what, Sony, right? CeeLo?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a Sony.
It should be a.
but yeah, that's a Sony one, and so we will see where we go from there. But all right, so now that we've kind of transitioned out, we're towards the latter part of our episode. We get to do what we love to do best. We get to talk about what's on our table, what's on my table. What's on my table? That's the name of the segment. All right, so CeeLo, are you on there?
Yes.
All right, do you want to go first?
So,
what's on your wall? Or did you put it on your table?
Exactly. I'm going to do... It's another item from what's on my wall,
Okay.
to be honest. Actually, I may have talked about it already. I feel stupid now. Did I talk about my my Chewbacca Stormtrooper painting?
No. Oh, no. But this is this is one from Wonderground?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, we haven't talked about it yet. By all means, please share.
Okay, so it's it looks like Chewie's on a Star Destroyer. He's in handcuffs. It's kind of more of a comic book, New Age drawing than real drawing.
Right.
It's one of the ones from Wonderground from Downtown Disney. It's painted by Chris Uminga. It's called What a Wookie. And I'll send it to Kavika, and he can post it if he wants to.
Yeah, we'll put it on
but
Street,
it's really cool. I love the paintings at that place. They're always into... they always have a section for Star Wars art, which I absolutely love. This one was the first one I bought. Came with the certificate and everything. It's signed, so it was a pretty cool painting I picked up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, CeeLo, please do send me that. I will gladly throw it on the Murphy Street account and put it on there. And then also put it. I'll do a story post on the Kavika K. Smith account. But just to kind of give you a backstory on that as well, I loved Wonderground, and when I was in Anaheim and my daughter was still home here, I would try and send her out a postcard every week. So I'd go to Wonderground, and when that got too expensive, I would go to Company D. But I would always get the Wonderground postcards to send to her. One of them was this same one that CeeLo's talking about, and like he said, it's kind of like this New Age type of animated drawing to it, and it's fantastic because it kind of helps attract the newer kind of graffiti artist style to it. You know what I mean? It has like just the lines are different. It's not rigid. It's not real. It's just, it's beautiful if you ask me. And I think that it relates to a younger generation way better than kind of the old, more formal style of art does. But you know what? So thank you very much, CeeLo, for sharing that off your wall. I'll go next since Bronson has a bunch of cool stuff to show us. But for me, because I'm a basketball fan, right? So I'm coming up, I'm showing IG Live right now, showing the camera. I am bringing out my farewell shot Michael Jordan piece because right now it's a Sunday. Every Sunday, ESPN from last week, this week, and the next 3 more weeks, they'll be releasing 2 episodes every weekend called The Last Dance, and it's basically a documentary on Michael Jordan and the 97-98 Bulls. Now, inside here, I just put this here from back when I was a card collector, but I actually have a card that has Michael Jordan playing his final game in Utah, and it has a piece of the actual floor of that final game on that card.
That's crazy.
And so this guy here is a really big collectible. I'll just bring out the piece, the Michael Jordan piece, but it's basically, if you can imagine that little rose in the glass, CeeLo.
That's cool.
So I have a little Michael Jordan piece, and then there's the court underneath it, and I'll bring that out to show you on IG Live there. And it's that exact same spot, so you put him on there, and then there's a crystal glass that goes around it, so kind of like capturing that moment in time, if you will. And the entire Last Dance is kind of all culminating to that one moment in which Michael Jordan hits that final buzzer beater, and then that's the end of that dynasty from 97 to 98. So I thought it appropriate to bring this out, a little ode to my athletic side, which I try to avoid while we're doing these podcasts. But since it's kind of taking a lot of attention right now, I thought I'd kind of merge the two worlds seamlessly, and hopefully that did exactly that for us. But all right, so that was what's on my table for me. Bronson, what do you have?
What do I have?
Bronson's is so cool. I don't know, CeeLo, you're gonna want to see this.
All right,
you
so
see
this
it,
is
CeeLo?
actually would you consider this a guest or
yeah,
we have
a special guest.
Don't say it. It's not Baby Yoda. It's the child. But
CeeLo, we saw you fixing your mouth to say Baby Yoda, CeeLo.
can see it. But it's the Mattel version, and this is probably the first merch that dropped.
For Baby Yoda. Yeah.
I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and I knew I had to get it.
Yeah.
It's not the animatronic one, so it doesn't do anything. It's just pretty much a plush. But I mean, the likeness of it is pretty spot on.
Beautiful, and I imagine that the sizing.
It's pretty. I think it is
proportional.
Yeah,
it's proportional. I would say that it's done to scale. What's awesome is as I watch him hold it, and CeeLo, I know that you're on IG Live as well right now, along with my cousin Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy. But as I watch him hold it, it's amazing because it actually kind of has like a lifelike movement to it.
It does.
CeeLo, can you see that? Like
it's pretty legit.
Right?
It's really cool because when he lifts his arm up, he does the, when he did that move in the
you
show.
see it, CeeLo?
Only this hand though.
Yep.
But what's cool is it also comes with the packaging is actually the cradle that you first see him in, so you can kind of just reuse the box and put him back in.
Just like that. Look at that. And this is how he watches over Bronson when Bronson sleeps. But no, absolutely. That's a great one. So again, let's just go over this really quickly because we will be doing this one more time. I know, right, G? Isn't this so great? Here, I'll give you one more look at him.
I think they're just starting to come out too in like Target. Some of them are showing up.
Yeah, a lot of the merch is starting to show up in Target, G. So if you want to get one, and you want to get one, trust me, G. But you can get him there. But again, so next week we'll be doing the giveaway. We will be giving away Luke on the IG Live. Do not think that you'll just get him for free. You will have to come on IG Live with us. You will request it. We'll bring you on and we'll ask you to do something, and then we will send this off to you. Again, this is the official 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back one. And then following the next one, Genesee says she has a 10-inch Funko ordered already.
Nice.
And then following that, for our IG post, we will also be giving away this guy as well. So join us next week for our podcast, in which we will do our giveaways. And like I said, we'll also give away the Galaxy's Edge pack that nobody cares about. So you can follow us on Instagram. Let's start with CeeLo. CeeLo, what is your Instagram handle, please?
Instagram is chrisc-lo.
Perfect. Moving on, Bronson, man with the child. What is your hobby page?
My hobby page, it's NoSnorb. That's NOSNORB_toybox.
And you can follow
IG
on IG, yes. And you can follow me at MURPHYSTREET808. That is Murphy Street 808. We will be doing this every Sunday on IG Live. Next Sunday we will be on at 6 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Please don't make me. 9 p.m. California Standard Time. What is that? West Coast Standard Time? You know what I'm saying. So if you live in California or that region, it'll be at 9 o'clock. Hawaii, it'll be at 6 o'clock. We are looking to give these things away. So until then, everybody, shelter in place, stay healthy, and don't forget your slippers. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.